This is Master Kambai, also known as Multi-Topic Talk. Welcome to this new battle. It's another Global League battle I did. Um, it's like the fourth one, and I think it's the third one on my channel. There is one I did not decided to publish, mainly because that was not that interesting. I lost, and the guy was just too good. And when someone is too good, well, the replay is not that interesting. So anyway, I hope guys will enjoy this replay. Grimm versus Jess. And here we will answer the question, can Grimm win in Global League? I hope guys will enjoy. Let's do this. As usual, we will be very fast on the first few turns. So now, as you can see it, infantry, we shoot the pipe in 2 turns. And at that point, he did not shot his pipe yet. Now I start capping my port. He blew up his pipe. And at that time, I already have my port, and I'm about to get one of my cities. I will get the airport, he will get the city. At that point, we are equal in value. It's actually the income. Sorry about that. So here at that point, as you can see, he is ahead of me. But mainly because he was player 1. I'm player 2, and look at this. I get 2 other buildings. So at that point, I surpassed him. So I have the initiative move, if we can call it that way. Now, because my artillery are stronger than usual, I will be able to deploy both of my artillery much faster. I created a tank in this area because I want to control the upper area. That's a lot of area, right? I'm still ahead of him in income. Now he created his artillery to blow up the pipe. I hide my infantry in the woods because I don't know if he likes the early recon. I know a lot of players do, and it's good sometimes. Can be really strong against Grimm because of my weaker firepower, but in general, early recons are destroyed by tanks with ease. Now, as you can see it, we are really similar in terms of army value, and he has the income lead because I was a bit slower than him. I bought a tank instead of many infantry. Now I traded my first recon. I have the anti-air because I don't know if that guy will have battlecopters. I know battlecopters are weaker with jess, but that doesn't stop you from getting these. And that com tower there also means you got extra firepower, so you can consider getting battlecopters with one com tower. Now at that point he creates 2 tanks. Now I control the center. I have 2 more buildings than him, so I have the income lead. I create tank, recon, infantry because I need vision. Now I am ahead of him in value and income. Now he was being really cocky. Taking that port there means he loses an infantry. because it's a sure thing I will have units in that area. So he just gave me that infantry. And I just send my infantry to not reveal my tank. I blow up that unit and I create a wall surrounding my artillery. He deals a lot of damage to my anti-air and I was sad about that, but I was like, you know what? I will have that artillery ready to shoot down that unit. Now I lose one infantry, I have a lot of damage and I'm like, oh man, Grimm's weaker defense is just awful. It's really hard to play around that. You always need to take the first strike and you need to be cautious. The moment you're trapped, you will lose your unit with Grimm. That's as simple as that. Now as you can see, I was able to damage that tank and it received so much damage, it's crazy. Now I finished off that infantry. I expect my infantry to die, but he will lose his infantry as well. Now I create a second anti-air because this one is almost dead. And I don't know if he will use battlecopters. I also get my first battlecopter out. Now at that point I'm like, oh, I will do a lot of damage. He will lose the upper front. Getting at my city without any true backup was not that amazing. All he had was a tank. Now at that point I was really scared about what was going on, but I had my powers, so I was like, I will do a good push this turn. I cap, I use my power to kill off the infantry, the tank, the infantry, the artillery. That turn was really strong for me. I really flipped the table, if we can say it that way. Now with the damage anti-air, I blew up the unit. I took an engagement there. Make sure you don't finish the cap. I send my battlecopters. I create a second anti-air because I expect this one to die. I create another tank because I expect to lose at least one tank in that area. And now I control the center. I have much more infantry and units overall in the center. Yes, the sides are pretty strong for him. Because remember, I am Grimm, so I have weaker defense. Look at that. So much damage on the city. That's crazy. That's only because I'm Grimm. Any other steals would have gotten these things better. Now, that shot there was amazing. He damaged my artillery, however, he did not kill it, so that means I can kill it. That also means he lost a tank. Is it worth it? Well, in my own opinion, he should have went for one of my tanks. The artillery was a good move, but you prefer dealing damage to tanks. Now I go for the HQ cap. At that point, I know I won't get it, but I will force him to use his resources to kill my infantry or damage my infantry. I don't see any infantry around. I was really afraid he had an infantry there, but turned out it was not the case. He had nothing on that top, so he was forced into using a tank to save himself the game. Now that tank was really clever, it was well placed. Now I dealt damage to that tank, because why not? Now this is a crippling turn for me. I lose a tank, I lose a second tank, and my capping infantry is almost gone. That super was really, really good. Now, at that point, I think he realized, yeah, he got trapped. He realized I had an interact there. And I was like, well, I will probably lose that front. So I sent as many infantry as I could in the center. Because at that point, I realized my only way out, my only way to win was to HQ cap my enemy. That was the only way to win. So here, it's my turn again. And I'm really, really desperate. I'm like, I will try my best to get that HQ cap. And in the worst case scenario, I will just keep keep some unit occupied. Some of his units will be occupied. And that's the point of HQ cap. It's rare you will be able to fully do your HQ cap. But a HQ cap is very strong. Even if it fails, you kept some of the units out of the battlefield, giving you the edge somewhere else. Now, as you can see it, I have the value lead, and I'm surprised about that because I felt behind him the entire game. Grimm will be always behind his opponent because having weaker defense is truly helpful. Yes, you have higher firepower, and your firepower is much higher than the weakness you got, but having that kind of weakness is truly helpful. It's the same thing with Stern. Yes, you got higher defense, but you can barely destroy units. It's the same thing with Grimm. Yes, you have higher firepower, but you can barely keep your units alive. Now I used my power to mop the floor with his troops, and I needed to keep his unit occupied in this area. I knew that if I kept unit occupied in this area, at some point I will be able to either win this front, or simply win the HQ. That was my whole tactic there. I capped one of his buildings because I could, and I did not expect it to get that building. I was like, oh, my infantry will die, will stop it. I lose an anti-air, and it's a crippling blow. I lose another anti-air, and I'm like, oh, wow, okay. I did the right thing to buy another one there. I always like to have at least one anti-air out, or two if there's more than one front. Mainly because I don't want a surprise battlecopter, because the surprise battlecopters can really harm you. You can lose to them. Now at that point I really hoped to get my power mid-turn, but I realized I was not able to do such thing. My medium tank in the center was really strong, and I knew it. That medium tank was my only assist in the center, and I was losing both fronts just to make sure the center would win it. Now he moves his artillery around. He shots my infantry, and I'm like, oh, I will still try. He killed my artillery, and I was surprised. I expected my tank to die, but that's good. Either engagement were good. Either you kill my artillery or you kill my tank. Both cases were good. I lost my battlecopter. Now he killed my anti-air as well, and I lost that front. At that point, I lost the front, and now my idea to HQ cap to win was getting bigger, because I knew I could not keep up. I just knew it. It's impossible to keep up with any seals when you're Grimm, because your units melt. They just straight up die. Now I go for that building. I don't expect to get it. I expect some infantry to show up and boom, kill me, or a mech or whatever. Now I kill his tank. Now I create another tank and a battlecopter. Now this turn was a really good turn for him. That overdrive was well done. And at that point I realized he probably has the artillery somewhere there. And I'm really scared about my medium tank. Since I'm scared about my medium tank, you will see me moving it elsewhere. I take a good shot there, a good shot there, and I try my best to go HQ cap him again. That's my only way to win this. You cannot compete with other seals. And at that point, I thought he had the upper end. I thought he had that city as well. Turned out it was not the case. Now he start mopping the floor with my troops. I'm losing that area and I'm really scared and salty about that. I'm like, I'm losing right now. I still have my infantry in the center. I'm like, that's my only way to win. Now I use that battlecopter to know what he has exactly, and I found out he had the artillery. I'm like, okay, well, let's take a shot to that medium tank and artillery. I cannot try to HQ cap him. If I do that at that point, I know I will lose my unit for nothing. Now I go on my HQ because I'm scared he has infantry around, but that guy don't seem to buy a lot of infantry, so his infantry game was really weak. Now I cannot compete with his tanks. I create a medium tank. I think I also knew he had the artillery, so that's my second reason. I needed a good push. I needed a strong unit to make a hole in the wall he will create. That same hole will allow me to reach the artillery. Now at that point I was looking while he was playing, so I've seen that infantry moving on that forest. So I was like, oh okay, that's probably the only defense he left for the HQ. It's at that point he messed up, leaving only an infantry behind to protect. Bad move, really bad move. Now I'm up the floor with this medium tank, so he has no more heavy hitter in the upper part. All he has are tanks and artillery. They are good, but they won't be enough to protect the HQ. Now I surround my capping unit. I HQ cap the guy again. And at that point, I used my power to mop the floor with his troops the best way I could, and I was really salty about that artillery. I expected that artillery to die. And at that point I was also very stressed out about what he had in the center to overwhelm me. You see, if he had more infantry, probably the guy would have won. His lacks of infantry really hurt him. Now at that point he realized he cannot stop my my HQ cap. So I won. I hope guys enjoyed. Like, comment and subscribe. We will see each other in future video. Have a great day.